Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is my iPhone 14 Pro Max review 1 month later. Now, let me start off by saying, wow, this phone is hard to get. I think it's still hard to get right now in some places, but here in Canada, it's a bit hard. First, I initially wanted to pre-order the phone and get it on launch day, but honestly, I didn't do it in terms of I didn't put aside the money in time, so I didn't get it on launch day. But then I placed the order on the App Store, well, the Apple Store, and I thought that it was coming like in about 3 days, some week tops, because I didn't really know that the phone was in such high demand that deliveries were completely delayed. And when I did actually dig into the order and see that it said that it will come in 2 to 4 weeks, I was like, wow, that's quite of a wait. I tried other Apple retailers, authorized retailers, and none of them had it. What I specifically wanted was the Pro Max in gold, 128 gigs, and no one had any. So it took me like about, 2 weeks and a half or a week and a half to find somewhere that have it, but they didn't have it in my color. They had the gold in 256, but initially I wanted the 256, but then I said, well, I'll stick with the 128 because I'll save a little more cash, could use it for something else, and I don't use ProRes. Well, I won't be using 4K ProRes often, so I'll just stick with 1080p ProRes. So yeah, so I ended up taking it in deep purple, which honestly, the deep purple color isn't too bad. Honestly, I kind of grew to like it, but honestly, I would have preferred the gold because I never had gold iPhone. Well, except for the 10s. No. Actually, no. I never had a gold iPhone. So it would have been cool, especially to have it in the stainless steel. And that stainless steel, that frost glass back, it would have been nice. And to see the gold ring around the cameras, but the deep purple is pretty cool too. Not as vibrant. Into the lights, they look more purple. In lower light, it will get a hint of the purple, but not so much. But yeah, rather than let's get into the review. Now, the big standout feature for the iPhones this year is 1, the dynamic island, and 2 is the 48 megapixel camera. Those are other than the small tweaks here and there, those are the 2 main standout features for this year. Now, I gotta say, I really like the dynamic island. It's pretty cool. It's nice to be able to have your stuff playing in the background, and you don't have to go in the app switcher and utilize any of the functions by opening the app or anything like that. You can just hold on top of your screen and get to your music controls and scrub through your track or skip on. It make it a lot more easier, and then you just go right into what you was doing before, so that switch between apps so much. So it would have been cool if they could have done it where you tap the dynamic island and then hold on to be able to go into it, but for all they might send a software update and change it around. But as it is now, it's pretty cool. And in iOS 16.1, there's live activities for, well, a lot more apps. So not just the standard YouTube or movies or music or timers and the standard apps, but there are more apps like Uber and Uber Eats and Sports Scores and all those kind of apps that's now readily available in 16.1. So if you guys haven't updated, you should. The update came out Monday, so if you guys haven't updated yet, you should. And the 48 megapixel camera is pretty cool. I must say. It's been a while coming that Apple has stuck to the 12 megapixel camera on the iPhones, but it was good. But it was kind of lagging behind in terms of the quality, and well, not the quality, but how small the detail I could get out of it. It's kind of lacking because at the end of the day it's 12, so you can't really zoom in that much. But now that you have 48 megapixel, it makes it much more usable to be able to crop into certain images just right out the back from the main sensor. And if you're into that, you could take a good landscape shot or some family photos, I can be able to actually print it out and still have a good usable quality out of it, good detail from that photo still. So it's a great thing that they add the 48 megapixel camera to the iPhone finally. And see, for me, I would say they should have at least upgraded the other two, the ultra wide and the telephoto. Probably, I don't know, maybe 20 megapixel for both. Because they, other than the f-stop and everything, they haven't gotten that much of an upgrade, but it's cool. And the nice feature that they added is action mode. Now, action mode is pretty cool. Action mode does help stabilize the video, like if you're hiking or if you're on, let's say, like a boat and there's a lot of rocking and you want to take a shot of something that's going on, but you can't get a stabilized video that you want because there's a lot of movement. But the iPhone default stabilization is good, but it can't handle those drastic situations. But with action mode, it makes it a lot more easier. It crops in the image, that's how it gets to stabilize that image, because it crops into that 4K footage, and therefore it turns out the quality is actually 2.8K. And it requires a lot more light for one, for it to get to look pretty good, and for it to be able to actually stabilize the video. It doesn't work well at all in low light. As I always tell, once even in this lighting, it will say more light required, because it needs a lot of light for not just the quality but to actually stabilize that video. And it's pretty cool. When you first go on action mode, it automatically goes to the ultra wide, which isn't as crisp. So I would suggest that you use the 1x main camera in action mode, so you just switch to the 1x and utilize that for your action mode shot, and the results are pretty cool. It's not bad at all. The raw capabilities of the iPhone is pretty outstanding now, again, because of that 48 megapixel. You not only have RAW where you can be able to completely fine tune it to the color that you like, but you also have that detail. You can fine tune the colors, and you can have a ton of detail if you decide to zoom in or anything like that in your photos. It's pretty outstanding, I must say. And ProRes, it kind of sucks for me that I don't get 4K ProRes, because this is just a 128 gig iPhone, but it's still pretty cool. It just takes up a lot of space, so even if I had gotten the 256, I think and I did a few 4K ProRes, I think my space would have filled up pretty fast. So yeah. Here's just like a few sample comparisons between the 13 Pro Max of last year and my 14 Pro Max. Now the quality difference aren't really that noticeable, not really. Just mainly in like fine detail. Might it have a little more detail when you zoom in, not out from the 12 not out for the 48 megapixel, but the 12 megapixel. And the iPhone 48, just like many other large megapixel mobile camera, the pixel bend. So even though it's 48, unless it's shooting RAW, you get 12 megapixel from the 48 megapixel camera. And because of that 48 megapixel, Apple was able to crop into that 48 and get 12 megapixel out of it to make a 2x option on the camera. So the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it only had 0.5 times, 1 times, and 3 times. Now with the 14 Pro Max, you have 0.5, 1 times, 2 times, and 3 times. And that 2 times is utilizing the 12 megapixel, the 48 megapixel main camera, and crop it into that for a 12 megapixel, and download as scripts as if it was the 12 megapixel from the 12 Pro. So it's pretty cool having 4 lenses when you actually have this 3. So it's nice to have a little more versatility that way, so you could be able to, if you don't want to go as close as 3x, but you want a little in between. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it would have been cool if Apple probably added like a 5 times telephoto instead of just 3 max. Well, optical zoom. But I mean, who knows? Probably, as far as the rumor goes, the 15 Ultra might have a longer range telephoto. So I guess we'll just allow we can see. But the iPhone camera is pretty good, and the video is top notch. As usual, I can record 10-bit Dolby Vision HDR video. Also has ProRes. You can do 4K 60 on all cameras. The 3 cameras on the back and in the front, and it got cinematic mode. Now cinematic mode has gotten a pretty nice upgrade this year. Last year cinematic mode was limited to 1080p 30, and in certain situations it looked good, but still it wasn't as crisp because it's just only 1080p, and the edge detection was hit and miss a lot of times, especially around like here and well, glasses and stuff like that. It kind of misses some of the edges, but this year it's a bit better with the edges, and it's 4K at 24 FPS, so truly kind of cinematic feel now, and it's good. I like it. It's once you don't have the f-sub too high, it looks pretty natural. It gives you that nice bokeh in your video, that nice little cinematic feel, and well, it can also like change the color, you can change it to grayscale. You have a lot of versatility, and you can play around with it a lot, and it's awesome. I really like it, and it's pretty good. I know maybe the iPhone 15 or 2 generations after, the edge detection will be perfect, just like how portrait mode has gotten over the years. It got really good, but as it stands now, 2nd gen portrait mode, it's good. I like it. The next thing that I like is the always on display. It have a lot of controversy with that. A lot of people think that it's too bright, and they think that it should have an option for you to just like have a black background than having whatever background you currently have on your phone. And a lot of people say that it helps drain the battery a lot, and for me, I find it's working out pretty good. I like it. I mean, it's just like the Apple Watch always on display. Whatever wallpaper you have, it just goes into dim state. And if you have anything like let's say an analog clock, it will just stop the second hands and everything, and it will just stay that way. But for me, I like it. And for me, I haven't found it to really drain battery that much, I would say. I mean, I never had the 13 Pro Max to compare battery life, but for me, I find the battery life pretty good. It have 2 days, I left the phone home for like 5 hours. I charged it up, unplugged it, 100%, head out. Always on display was on, left. When I came back, always on display was off, so I guess it haven't been in use for a while. I don't know what exactly triggers it to turn off, maybe because I don't know. But I came back, always on display was off, so I'm not sure how long it stayed on. And when I did check the battery percentage, it was still at 100% after 5 hours. and I used the phone afterwards for maybe about maybe 10-15 minutes, and then it dropped to like 98. So for me, battery life has been pretty cool. It haven't been bad at all. So in the beginning of the video, I had said there was only two main features, which was the 48 megapixel and dynamic island, but actually is that and always on display, cinematic mode upgrade, action mode, and the 2000 nit peak brightness outdoors. I have noticed the 2000 nit peak brightness outdoors, and it's pretty bright. You know, the phone, I was coming from directly a tennis before I got this phone. I had the 12 and everything like that before, but was lost and all that. So before I got this 14, I had the tennis, and watching videos outside or just generally doing anything outside with the tennis, especially in bright sunlight, it made it kind of hard. It wasn't as enjoyable, as immersive as it should be, and it kind of distracted me a little bit from times trying to watch videos and stuff like that outside in bright sunlight. But with the 40 Pro Max, it's bright. It's almost like I'm inside with full brightness, and I just could play games and enjoy myself a little more with my content while I'm out, probably traveling, driving, just outdoors. I'm able to see things much clearer on the phone. And the previous 13 Pro Max, the peak was like 1600 nits, correct me if I'm wrong, outdoors. And this phone is 1600 nits peak brightness HDR, 1000 nits manual brightness, and 2000 nits peak outdoor brightness. So yeah, it got a lot going on. When I initially got it, it never overheat or anything, but these past few days, like maybe like 3 days now, I noticed while charging and when you do full brightness and everything, it's tend to get a little warm and then start to dim. And I did all that before and it wasn't happening, and now it's starting to happen. Maybe because of warmer weather, I guess. But I now notice that it's now starting to do that. And that's the only thing. The only thing that main thing that disappoints me is that Apple did not upgrade the thermal throttling at all. Like they didn't do anything to really disperse the heat much better than it should. Now it doesn't dim as much and as fast as the 13 Pro Max or any iPhone before, but it still does it sadly. Other phones doesn't really have that issue, and iPhone is the only one that really does. The next thing is the performance. The performance, of course, is great. It's not that much of a jump from the 13 Pro Max, which are the A15 Bionic, and the A16 Bionic is pretty awesome, but the difference is not that drastic as if coming from like iPhone 11 or something, then you might notice more difference in the multitask, high performance like video editing and gaming and stuff like that. But the 13 Pro Max, it's not that much of a difference, not really, and it's pretty substantial compared to like Android counterparts. Like none of them honestly have come as close to Apple's chip performance at all. So that's the one thing that's substantially better, is the performance. Now it's not as better as in the 30 Pro from a 13 Pro Max, but it is a substantial upgrade from any other phone other than iPhone. It's pretty good. And to sum it up, I enjoy the 40 Pro Max. It's a pretty cool phone. It's heavy. For one thing, it's heavy. This is my first time owning the Pro Max version of the iPhone. Always had a smaller one, always. And it's pretty heavy. That for sure must say that stainless steel is hefty. And the camera bumps are thick. Very thick. It's worth it though. Honestly, the first night of using the phone, I lay in bed and had the phone like this watching a movie. That's taking in a big screen, and my hand literally started to hurt after a while just holding it because it was like really heavy, and I never really had the Pro Max version before, so I was now getting accustomed to that weight, and it was cool. It hurt for the first night, but it's nice having that big screen to be able to do a little video editing, record video, watch some movies. It's nice. It does come in nice. So this is my review of the iPhone 14 Pro Max, a month and something later. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for much more videos like these, and I'll see you all in the next one.